I'm glad that we could get together today and kind of talk about the different things that are going on in each aspect of the business. And I just wanted to welcome all of you and thank you for taking time out of your day to kind of talk to everybody that will be tuning in on Friday when this airs, and kind of give them like an idea of what's going on throughout the marketplace and what's happening. I know that everybody has something different going on when it comes to like what's going on with their particular part, with COVID, with closings, with purchases, with inspections, interest for purchasing for buyers, right? Some people don't want to leave the city. And so this might be an opportunity for people. Do we see that purchase money is coming back a little bit more? Like, Ross, are you getting busier? Stephen, are you getting busier? And then in turn, that would mean that, you know, Ricky and Erica would then be getting busier. Like, do you guys see that it's starting to pick up in the purchase market now?
For me, Connecticut, like you said, has been pretty stable. I haven't seen a downtick in the deals that I'm getting. I'm actually getting more of an uptick, but that's only more because I'm being introduced to more realtors that work both in New York and Connecticut, and really didn't have a Connecticut go-to, and now they have one. New York, I mean, I'm obviously down from what we were doing, but I do see I'm still getting new purchase memos here and there. So there are some people doing the virtual offers, and it's just, again, it's not the same amount of volume that we're used to. But I see the scare. There was a period that we got nothing, and that actually now has changed. I think people are getting frustrated. Like, all right, I want to move on with my life. I want a house in the summer. So I think more people are shopping now, and hopefully we'll start seeing more offers.
So let's talk a little bit about that, Stephen. I'm glad that you were the person that jumped in, because it kind of helps me segue into the next thing. I have been hearing and seeing that there are COVID-related addendums going into purchase contracts and things like that. Could you kind of elaborate a little bit on what they are and how that affects buying and selling?
I mean, so there's one that the New York State Association of Realtors came out with. I have my own version in my rider. I don't use theirs. But typically it's, one is really not that much against what would normally happen anyway. It's pretty much stating, most of them, that they're going to allow additional time if the reason why we can't close is due to COVID. In reality, did you need that in writing? I guess in certain situations you would. I guess it helps fight time of the essence notices. But in reality, if you know the law, you'd be able to fight a time of the essence notice because of it, because the case law.
That's why we love you, Stephen.
The case law states you need a reasonable amount of time. A reasonable amount of time in this period is going to be different than a regular period.
For sure.
So I think it just more helps the buyers and sellers see the black and white. So New York's so confusing with on and about closings, where you have a hard time for buyers and sellers to understand that's within a reasonable time frame as it is. So this creates another black and white issue for an attorney or realtor to point to the contract and say, no, you have more time to protect it. Don't freak out as much. The one thing some of them do is allow for cancellation if your extension is going beyond 30 days.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about one more thing for that. Like, right, a lot of people are doing virtual tours, and people are kind of going into contract sight unseen. Mm-hmm. And this, is there a rider to protect them if, like, once we can open up and they can get into the property, they want to back out of the property because the pictures didn't, like, really maybe show some things, because videos and pictures can show you what they want to show you and not what you're really going to be able to see. So what's the protection in that?
Well, I've seen a couple things. One, and again, I'm not speaking for realtor law, I've seen realtors let clients in with the notion of they're not going in. They go in, open the door, stay by their car. The clients go in. I don't know if that's a violation or not, but I've had a few of those. And then I've had the clients actually being shown the home by the sellers themselves. That I have more frequently than anything.
Right.
Where, the realtors are just setting it up amongst the owners, and the owner and the buyer goes in and gets that. The third thing, the third thing, which is rare, is more, but I'm doing it as well, is a clause where they can cancel, within a 2-week period of time for, let's say, with a post-inspection type of situation where someone like Ross or I find more inspectors showing the homes and doing the inspection at the same time.
Back to Stephen and Giovanni before I move on to our insurance and our title girl, because it's very important that we kind of touch on these two things. And I think that Giovanni and Stephen can talk mostly about it. Stephen, so with the COVID and renters not being able to be paying their rent, but also not being able to be evicted on houses of multiple families where the tenant occupied, what is in place to help the buyer obtain that without breaking any of the COVID kind of eviction laws and rental laws?
Rentals. I get questions almost daily about people. There's a false belief that people don't have to pay their mortgages and don't have to pay their rent. One, there's been nothing that states that no one is free from paying rent. The only announcement that has been made is that they're not entertaining eviction proceedings right now. That doesn't mean that, and I think obviously there'll be more understanding if they go to court, but I think the court's going to want to see, well, okay, you didn't pay rent, we understood why. It wasn't purposeful, you didn't have any money. The court's not even kicking anyone on the street, that's why they stayed eviction proceedings, but they're going to want to know, well, what are you going to do to rectify what you owe? I mean, you owe money, your landlords have mortgages to pay just like bills to pay just like you do. And it's not fair to the landlords either. I know a lot of clients have been doing agreements where they were, like just yesterday, I have someone that's getting paid $500 a month instead of the $2,100, and they made an agreement within a 2-year period to make up the difference with their tenant. That's a situation where if the tenant's trying to pay something and you've always had a good relationship, that is a little bit more, I guess, it makes the landlord feel a little bit more comfortable. Nothing is going to totally protect them other than getting the full rent, obviously. Now, people that
Can I just jump in for a quick second? Yeah. I guess what my question is more pertaining to buyers who are buying multifamily houses that the seller has renters in there and we can't get them out. What is the protocol right now for delivering a house vacant, but you can't make it vacant?
No difference in the regular protocols. It's okay, well, it's not vacant. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay in contract and wait? Or do you want to take some kind of credit or an escrow to protect the new buyer, where they can pull from the escrow to pay rent?
So basically, we are business as usual with that, just as long as everybody's in agreement to the way the house is being delivered. Now, as far as banks go, and I'm going to add a little bit here, as the mortgage lender, one of the units needs, if it's a primary residence that they're purchasing, one of the units needs to be vacant. Are we able to get people out of one of the units in order to make it a delivered vacant property in order for them to occupy it? Otherwise, I don't have an occupying primary residence, I guess is my point. So I guess they just have to wait it out and looking at time frame.
If the lender is aware about it, so if the lender is aware about it, then yes, I think that would be the case. You're going to have to wait. Some lenders are okay with the post-possession so long as they know that they are getting. I've had a couple banks make that exception. They wanted an escrow agreement. They wanted to make sure that the tenant was going to be out by X date, and they wanted money to make sure that there wasn't going to be a hardship and that they were going to get the income from it. But,
Gotcha.
60, and I guess it's particular in bank. I don't know what violates what. That's more your expertise, Susan. I've had other situations where they converted the loan last minute to an investment loan, and they had the whole place rented out, and they just said, we're going to do it this way.
So I guess the most important thing that's going to come out of this question is that we all just need to kind of communicate and be honest as to what the situations are so that we're all protecting each other within the parameters of what we're doing each step of the way.
Right.
Oh, I appreciate that, Stephen. Thank you. And Giovanni, I'm sorry you didn't really get to answer that question, but I'm going to move on to Erica now.
He answered perfectly. He knows more than I do in this situation.
Yeah, he did. He did. That's why I was like, okay. Anybody else have anything to add? All right, family. I appreciate you guys. You guys stay safe.
Quick picture.
What?
Quick picture.
We're not even there. She's taking a picture.
Wait, before everybody signs off.
What do you want? Side view? What do you want?
Your best angles.
Oh, that would be person.
Cute.
Thanks, guys. Go back to work.
Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Bye.